Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jay. I am the creator and founder of the Shit Show model, and I'm excited to welcome you to one of the videos that a lot of people have been requesting. We will be running over the main thing that people have been talking about, and that is basically the power, how you can utilize the Shit Show model to your advantage to minimize your stop loss in a crazy, crazy way. See, there's a very interesting take on the market. People love to take the longer moves. Now, the shit show model does literally everything different. It's a different mindset, it's a different model, a different system. It does not exist elsewhere. And the simplicity behind it is thinking opposite of what you are thinking. You might want to take the longer moves, you might want to take the past price and operate on the past, while the Shincha model, you don't have to take the longest move, but you reduce your stop loss. That's the focus. And the focus is not the past, the focus is the future. People love to talk about you cannot predict the market. Well, we'll see about that, right? That's literally the entire focus of this model. Hundreds and hundreds of other people um, don't hold their past opinion anymore after seeing what this can do in your life. But before that, I want to run over a couple of big things. Just a few points before we start getting into this. I know there's been discussions on specifically from the group and from people from inside the 6 week program, like why would you ever give this? Why don't you hold this for yourself? And that's because the reason why I'm doing this, I'm not doing this for you. Yeah, that's right. I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this for the people that are listening to my voice right now. You want to know who I'm doing this for? I'm doing this for my past self. My past self, the unprofitable Jay, the one who was looking everywhere and couldn't find it. And he knew it existed. And a lot of people told me it does not exist. That's the fact. That's the pure fact behind what past Jay was looking for. He was not looking for the past, he was looking for the future. He was looking to actually predict the market. Yes, he was looking for that. You can call me a degenerate and a dumbass, however much you want, that's fine. But he was looking for something that predicts the future, that you can operate at all times of day on all tickers that ever exist. If there was a ticker on freaking well-being, it would work in the same way. If there's a graph, you can trade it with the model. A lot of people have asked me that question. Don't look to convince anyone because you do this for you. You're not doing this for me. You're not doing this for uh, people around you. You're doing this for you and your loved ones, your family. And that's why I also teach to the highest degree that one of the major rules that I have in the Discord, the major rules, practice it. No, sorry, my bad. Learn it, practice it, and then you piss off. That's the three rules that you have. You learn it from me and the information, you practice it with me and with yourself, and then when you figured it all out, you freaking piss off. I'm not looking to keep you astray forever. There's a lot of people, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to give shout outs to name because they want to be anonymous. But there's a lot of people that have left the group sitting profitably, 80 to 85% win rate, profitably. Left the group, kicking ass with the markets and doing their thing for who? Not for me, not for you. They don't give a shit about you or me. They give a shit about their families, which you should do. So I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for Past J because I know and I have to believe that there's somebody out there that feels the same way as Past J. And he could only wish for this to be out there. And the best part with that is that you don't have to choose this. You don't have to choose this way of trading. You really don't. And a matter of fact, if you feel like I'm not sure if this is my thing, don't, for the love of God, don't choose this. Because that means it does not resonate with you. And since I'm looking to create some really good traders, you are wasting my time and you will be wasting your time. You have to look for something that resonates with you. I'm talking, if it's hard for me to say that, but if ICT does resonate with you, you better, for the love of God, choose that. I have a hard time believing that that resonates with you, but that's all right. If you feel like Stoic's approach resonates with you, you choose that. If Dave's approach resonates with your mind, you choose that. The model has to fit you, not you to it, because you will be operating it. It cannot be operating you. And I'm sure a lot of people haven't even thought about that. But not choosing what fits your mind equals it will be operating you. You will be operating it like a dumbass. So if it does not resonate with you, skip the learning and practicing. Just simply piss off. And if somebody was out there telling Past J that, that would have been freaking great because I wouldn't have wasted years on my learning curve. I have a quick question for you listening to this right now, and I would be glad if you don't skip past this and actually think about it. How many P&L charts, how many green days on X from people do you see? Every time you log on to X, check your feed out. And the next question is, how many of you guys have become profitable from watching P&Ls? Has P&L ever made you profitable? Past J did not become profitable from watching P&Ls, let me tell you. As a matter of fact, what it did, and what it does for me till this day, if I focus too much on P&L, even in my own trading, I have to stop trading. I have to stop. And I know a couple of other really good traders that are trading the shit model. They do the exact same thing. If they start to focus on the P&L, they stop trading for the day. You have to do things differently. So, since Past J didn't become profitable for watching P&Ls, why in the world would you give a shit about your freaking P&L? Why in the world would you give a shit about my P&L? Why would you? If it does not make you profitable, well, you have to convince me. I don't have to convince you of shit. Piss off. I really don't. I really don't have to convince you. Because I've already told you, don't choose this. If you ever feel like I need to convince you with something, you should have already left this information. Leave it. Because now you need convincing. Now you're choosing a model that does not resonate with you. You're wasting time and money. Go look for something that makes sense in your mind. If somebody told me that and was straight to the point, honest, upright, with that very thing that I just mentioned to you, I would have saved years. I was struggling like a dumbass, sitting on a freaking rock, doing nothing other than studying ICT's 500 billion different monthly core mentorships. And I couldn't make sense of it. I forced my brain into it. I couldn't make sense of it. But as soon as I found Dave, for example, as soon as I found him, bang, resonated somewhat. Not fully, but somewhat. And it was night and day. It took me days to figure stuff out. Not years, days. Do you understand how important that fit to you? Many of the profitable traders, as a matter of fact, I would say at least 95% of them, coming from the shit show model, learned from this information. These guys, they have not seen my P&L, yet they are kicking my ass in terms of the RR ratio. How does that make sense? And the crazy part is that every single one of them have literally mentioned, I don't want to see your P&Ls because that would make me go nuts and have huge dreams and hopes. And the another rule that I have in this group is that if you ever hope, you better make sure that you close up the market, because hoping is what kills your dreams. Hoping. Dreaming and hoping actually kills your dreams. You're hoping that it works. No, you shouldn't be hoping. You should be operating, working your ass off. Get this shit done. That's what you should do. So when it comes to the P&L, it never made me profitable. And I'm sure for a lot of people listening to my voice right now, it has not made you profitable either. So why bother? Why freaking bother? I think I'm pretty clear on that. And I know that that thing right there that I just mentioned will cost me a bunch of hit words of, oh, so you're not profitable, you haven't made it, you have no proof, you have no this and that. Guys, I don't give a shit. I've done that before. I've shown my P&Ls before. I've shown my win rate before. I've shown everything before. Literally within a couple of days, my ego skyrockets. And when ego comes into the picture, my win rate, my taking trades decreases a lot. And I'm telling you, it's not worth it for me to convince some people that I'm making a lot of money from the markets because of what? Your $200 here and there. Why would I give a shit? I would rather make sure that I can trade and teach the people that trust the model and not me, and see that the model actually works within literally 2 weeks of being in the 6-week program, for example. These are just a few of them. I have now, it has exploded. I didn't expect that. I'm very thankful for that. But the group and the 6-week program has absolutely freaking exploded. And I get these DMs at least 5 to 10 times a day. At least 5 to 10 times a day. And they're changing their minds. They see that the model actually proved it to these guys. It proved it to them. None of these people asked, Jay, what is your P&L? What is this and that? Let me see if this works. Let me see if that thing that you're talking about works. I'm looking to take it. Because what that also does, you find that it's your model now. It's not somebody else's P&L. Let me make sure I will make the same P&L as Jay. Let me make sure of that. Let me make sure that I can operate price in the same way that Jay does it. I don't even need convincing. He has convinced me enough on X, on YouTube, on the live stream. The live stream I did with the premium, it's still on my YouTube. Go check that out. I'm talking about every single high, low, every tick of it. I predict it all. It's not some strange thing anymore. You don't think I am operating within that? You don't think that I will be taking trades based on me knowing that we're going there? So with that said, enough of that bullshit. Let me get into the information. I hope this clears up a couple of things. You don't have to trust me, which is the best part. I'm looking to make self-sustained traders, not traders that are tied to me. I don't want you tied to me. I want you to learn, practice, and piss off. That's what I want you to do. And you cannot be tied to me. So you are either way going to have to convince yourself that you can do it anyways. And I'm telling you, everything works. It just has to make sense within your mind. It's going to have to need to fit your mind. Your mind, not my mind. It's already fitting perfectly fine. And for many others, it's fitting perfectly fine. But it has to be you. You. And I can't stress that enough. Enough of the rant bullshit. I know I actually hate when people rant for this long or talk about these things for this long. But hey, it's uncut. I'm not gonna cut this shit. It's That's how I do it. I speak freely. I speak what I think, and cutting is like cutting out important information, right? Even though I tend to change up a couple words here and there. It's not looking to be perfect. It's looking to be me. I'm just a dude that trades. Nothing more. I'm not a god, for God's sake. Look to Jesus for that. Let's get into some of the real stuff that Int was asking to look into. So, and many others for that reason. So let's get into that just in a couple of secs here. And this time I'll actually cut you out because it's annoying. All right, back at the charts, right? We're back. So the main thing that a lot of people have been asking me, including what Int brought up, is reducing our stop, right? In the way that I'm working within price is I don't necessarily, and I did that for a long time. I wanted to take the longer move because it looks cooler, but I had to, after some time, realize that the longer that price plays out, the higher the probability it is that it can turn around on you. It sounds pretty basic, but in my mind, it was not. When I was figuring out trading, in my mind, I wanted to take the huge moves and I wanted to look really cool, right? And feel that ego in me and for others to see that, oh, holy shit, Jay can take this type of trade, right? But that's not really my cup anymore. I don't give a shit what you think about me, what anybody else thinks about me. I will be operating within my model, my style, because I'm looking to make money from the markets while others don't. And I'm not going to focus on people liking me. I want to get this shit done for past J, right? So I'll now imagine that you are the past me and hope that it makes sense. Um, I mentioned this so many times, but it's this greatest triangular shape of all time, which is very fascinating, and especially for the 6-week program people. Hey, shout out to you guys, by the way. You guys are starting to realize this with the multi-time frame sequences and adaptation into price because of this, and you're seeing this everywhere in price. Depends on how low you go on the time frames, right? It's always going to be there at all times. So you have to understand that when we are operating in price, we can take this example. You see how it grows bigger and bigger, right? It goes up more and more. It just increases the range of it. Let's say this is 10 points, this is 20 points, or 15, 20, 25, for example. Now, a lot of people tend to, when they take their trades, I don't know what you trade. Again, you could be trading ICT for whatever I know. That's all right. But a lot of people tend to take the one-to-one trades, right? Which is fine. I understand that. But I don't necessarily like that. So what people tend to do, and the past me tended to do, it's not a one-to-one anymore. But what you have against you now is just the longer period of time for it to play out. And the longer time for it to play out. So over time with my model, I realized that, and this is very important, price is completely fractal. That was not something that I thought before watching Dave. But he definitely convinced me with that. I'll show you an example of why it's fractal. So instead of doing this, let's pull this back down to a one-to-one. You saw that that was a 2.3, right? Look how fast this changes when I move up my stop. 2.3. Same target. And it will increase incrementally from here. Holy shit, now we're at 4. What about now? 9. And now we're down to usually where my stops are at, where they're located, around 2 to 3 point stops. So now I have a 9R trade with the same target. And now you might say, but Jay, hold on a second. Doesn't that mean we'll be easily being stopped out? No, not if you understand the fractality of price within the shit show model, right? And this is something that I teach to all 6-week program people at week, I think it's week 5 and week 6 together. How they make sure that it's actually very easy, and you can only understand it through the sequence. So simply put it, I would rather take this trade because it's not even close to the longer move in terms of time, but it's still that stop loss. So what I mean by that is, sure, you can have your one-to-one right here, but what I teach is the fractality of price, of understanding we know that that low here that you have your stop loss at will be hit if we run that low, for example. Because if you run that low, that means the next low is going, the next low is going. For example, look at this now. So if I know, if I'm taking my trade as a long, for example, from around here, that number 2, right? Let's imagine that's a 2. Price will now, we're looking for a long up to here, let's say. And my stop will be sitting like that. If price then runs that low, that means that I know that this low down here will be ran. And that's because of the fail 2 within the sequence. And you can go back and watch the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos if you want to, whatever. That's because of the sequence. The sequence tells me that that's a 2, right? And that's a 2, and that's a 2. So I basically boil it down into the very spot where price has to give a decision if we're going to be running that low or be running this high, which is sitting up here somewhere. The very point in price where it has to decide to make a big move. And personally, and you should as well, I like taking the big moves, man. I like taking the longer moves, longer setups, right? Because I want this explosiveness. I don't want to sit in drawdown. That's pissing me off, right? I don't want to sit forever waiting for something to play out, going up and down and up and down. No, I want to be in and out, in and out. That's how fast I want it to be. And so when it comes to these things, it's very, very important that when we take a setup, when we take a trade, we understand the very point in which price will have to explode. And it will start off with you having a, for example, if let's say we're targeting that high, our stop will be down here. See how that's a 1.42R trade? As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's target that high, and our stop will be here. It's a 2R. Doesn't even make sense. Let's do it at 1-to-1 here. We'll get scrapped. You're targeting this high. Your stop is here. 1-to-1. You say, great, it worked. Hey, wow, right? What I say is, same target, as always. Move up your stop loss to the confirmation of the trade, which should be sitting around here. Now it's the same move, the confirmation, on the smallest time frame where there is a sequence. And you will now drag it from a 1-to-1R all the way to an, what? 8R trade. For example, I'll give you some chart examples in a bit. Whenever we have price in this manner, The sequence will be operating here. It 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 will be operating here. And you're looking for price to head back up to, for example, this high. You will be taking your long from here as a one-to-one trade, right? Wonderful one-to-one right here. But then price starts to act up a bit. So now what you do, you enter it from here instead, right? From this very leg right here. That means that you have the same target, but you pull up the stop loss to what? That low. That's a 2R trade. Fascinating. Now this happens. Gosh dang it, I suck at writing this stuff. And now it's a what? 3.4. Okay. Now we drag this over here. And we drag the stop loss up a bit even more. That's a 7R trade. And now we drag this over here. And pull up our stop down to here. That's a 19R trade. And the question is, you were looking for a 1-to-1 in the beginning. Do you actually need 19R? Do you have to make sure that this hits? No. You don't have to be right to make money. So let's do this instead. You look for a 1-to-1, right? But let's just make it an 8R trade. We can settle with that. So now price can do this. And you've still made money in being wrong. And what I teach everybody in the group, you will make so much money from the markets when you are wrong. I make money when I'm wrong. I make money when I'm right. People see often in my lives that I'm wrong, yet I still make money. I'm thinking price is going here. Price is going here. I'll take the move, a very quick one in there. The highest probability move when price is so squeezed up with the shit show model, because what this is, that's a 2. Inside that 2, you have another 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 2. This is multi-time frame sequence. And since that's the 2, that's another 2, right? That means 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All of these are going to be taken. So now you're just boiling it down. In the same way you're seeing the higher time frame sequence, you can see it on the tick charts. You can boil it down into the tick charts. And it's going to reach that point before it explodes. Look at that. I even marked it out for you guys to check it out. For example, in my sequence, in my trades, I look for a high to be swept of what I call a breathing room. When we sweep that breathing room, we have a 2. Well, within that 2, you have a CBC, so that's another 2 in here. And most likely within that, you have a tick chart 2, which is sitting right around here. That's most likely a 2 on the tick charts as well. So now when we run that high, you can enter here. So the first entry you had was here. We run that, have a big 2. Your stop is here and your target is here. Hey, 1.95 isn't too bad. Have the same target, but now you're entering over here with your stop 1 tick above that high. I always teach 1 tick above. So now you went from a 2R trade into a 6.8. Pretty fascinating. But on the tick charts within that 2, you will have another 2, which is in here. And now you can drag that down even more. Now you have just turned, which is probably around here, right? So that should probably be your stop. So you have now just turned a 1 or 2R trade into a 11R trade. And you are wondering how people in my group can grab so many R's in a week, every day. I had a guy yesterday that pulled in around 84 R's. 84. This is the reason. He's making your 1-to-1 R trades into 11R trades. And you're taking 5 trades. If he just takes 5 trades, he's up at 55 R's. But it's the same move. You guys are taking the same move, for example. That's the reason why the R's are so huge, because they've understood that Every single tick in the market has a reason. It has a reason. And that reason is the sequence. It's played out in numbers. It's playing out in numbers. The numbers are always going to be one step ahead of what is actually shown in the graph at all times. So every two that is playing out will tell you where it's moving. And that is being told by the past 4 and 5 that told you where the next two is going to go. So you will always be one step ahead of what? Market structure. Market structure is amazing. That's where I started. But then you, over time, develop new things that make sense to you. Right? It changes your perspective on how you view the markets. And one thing that I promise people is that within 3 to 4 weeks in the 6-week program, market structure will be completely eliminated from your mind. It's not calling market structure bad. It's working amazingly for a lot of traders that I talk with. They're amazing people and amazing traders, right? But for me, it didn't compare to this after some time. But in order for me to find this, to figure this stuff out, utilizing the tick charts and the seconds charts and be acting very, very, very fast, I needed numbers. My mind works better with numbers in a story to play out in the market at all times. There needs to be an explanation. I can't just randomly trust it. It has to do what? Make sense to me. It has to fit me as I began with this. So with this information now, you can go and look at this. If you go down to the even lower time frames than just a 1 minute, you will see that there's a sequence. And you will suddenly start to see and figure out that, holy shit, Jay is actually talking about the very one thing all this time with that tiny explanation. It's simply just a never ending, it's a never ending triangular shape that just doesn't stop. At all times, at all time frames, wherever you look, it's there. That means that if we look at the market from this perspective, and this is my proof that price is fractal, you see, guys, that this is the 1 minute chart here, right? 1 minute. Think differently. Let's say that this is no longer the 1 minute chart. We all now together decide that this is now officially the 1 second chart. Don't look at the 1 minute chart. This is now the 1 second chart. What makes it different? Nothing. Nothing makes it different. So what does this mean? Price is fractal. If we make sure that we tell each other that this is now officially the 4-hour chart, what makes it different to the 1 minute chart? Oh, wait, nothing. It's the same thing, just a different time span. How long it takes for the candles to form. It's the same thing on all time frames. With that said, I will also have a ongoing promotion for Christmas. It's going to be a flash sale. Most likely prices will increase after that. I wanted to make sure to give everybody the opportunity to join while it was also a bit cheaper. The prices will most likely go up a bit after New Year's, of course, not to $7.99, right? Probably around a bit more than 200 instead of the 189 right now. I also have a flash sale of 15% starting as soon as this video is out, and that code will be sitting in this link in the description. You just put that code in together with that link, and the one thing I can promise you is that market structure will be out of your perception after just a couple of weeks in the 6-week program. The 6 week program will kick your ass in the same way it did for all these people. It's going to blow your mind in the same way that blew these guys' mind. Same way. It's going to change your perspective, how you view the market. This is different. This is different. This is not some repackaged stuff. I had to sit down myself in dark mode. That is, by the way, free for you to access in the web page. In dark mode, I sat down for 11 days to figure this out. This is coming from the base foundation of Stoic. That's why you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can name it whatever the shit you want. You can name it Suck My Ass, ICT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you want to. ICT 1, ICT 2, ICT 3, whatever you want to call it. But that's just to make sure that you guys understand that it began there, but it's something completely different. It's something completely mind-boggling within that. So I have a lot of thanks to Stoic for that, and he's a great guy. You guys can check him out as well. But you have to understand that this is possible for people. And a lot of people said that to me, that not a lot of people will become probably what your stuff with your stuff that you're talking about. And you have to accept that. It's very hard for me to accept that. But I've yet to see people that say that this does not make any sense whatsoever. So I haven't really had that problem yet. And that's the honest truth. Maybe like 1, 2 people out of hundreds of people. Because they made sure it resonated with them. It makes sense to them before they join the 6-week program. So if you're looking to do that, remember to put in that code so it gets cheaper for you when you sign up for the 6-week program. And I will hope to speak to you in there if this stuff resonates with you. You still have time before the new year ends. You can kickstart the new year with a new your brain of how you operate within price, how you see price. Together with me and a lot of other people in the focus group that kick ass and kick ball with the market every single day. So with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening, day, week, month, and I hope to speak to you guys very, very soon. Jay over and out. See you guys around.